Welcome to the second lesson of Wise SCADA Screen Design. In this lesson, I will explain the properties of the form. To explain this more clearly, I will add a few controls to the screen. I will also add a panel object to group some of these controls. You can configure the panel object to display border lines. Or, if you do not want it to be visible, you need to change its style. When we set the style to none, the panel will have no borders. This allows us to move all objects inside it together. When you add objects to a form without modifying their properties, all properties are set to their default values. Some of these properties are inherited from the form itself. For example, when I change the form's back color, the back color of all contained objects also changes. Now I will reset it back to the default control color. SCADA screens can be displayed in different color themes based on the operator's preference. I would like to demonstrate this with a small example. I have added a panel. I will add radio buttons inside this panel. Let me add 2 radio buttons. Actually, let me add 3. Now I will change their names. I named the first radio button default. I named the second one dark. And I will name the third one colorful. Now I need to create tags for these options. Here are my existing tags. I will use them. I select my first tag for the dark option, that is tag 1. I select tag 2 for the colorful option. Now, by clicking on the form, I will change its colors using these tags. The default color is black. I will leave it as it is. If tag 1 is true, I set the text color to white. If tag 2 is true, I will choose a different color for the colorful theme. For example, I select yellow. I applied the same conditions to the back color as well. This time, I reverse the colors. When tag 1 is true, I set the background color to dark black. When tag 2 is true, I set it to red. Now I will start the runtime. The default color theme is currently active. When I click dark, the form switches to a dark theme. When I click colorful, the form changes to a colorful theme. With default, we return to the original appearance. This way, operators can use different screen colors based on their preferences or day and night conditions. Let's close the runtime. Not all objects inside the form need to change their properties in the same way. Some objects may need to remain fixed. As mentioned before, if a property is not explicitly set, it will change automatically. Let's change this button's background color to green. And choose a different forecolor. Let it be blue. Now, when we run the runtime, this button will stand out and its colors will not change. As you can see, it remains fixed. In this structure, if an object's property is left at its default value, the form's properties are directly applied to that object. The same applies to the font property. When we increase the form's font size, all objects inside also increase in size. There are many other properties as well, especially if you are using right-to-left languages such as Arabic. The right-to-left property can be very useful. All objects will be laid out starting from the right side. You can also prevent the operator from minimizing or maximizing the form. When we set the minimize and maximize buttons to false. Let's run the runtime again. As you can see, only the close button remains. The minimize and maximize buttons are no longer visible. One of my favorite features is opacity. With this, you can make the form semi-transparent. When we run it, you can see the forms or applications behind it. As you can see, our form has become semi-transparent. This is especially useful for top-level pop-up windows. The operator can still monitor the main screen underneath. Finally, the form's startup position is set using the location property. For example, our X value was 0. This means the form opened at the top left corner of the monitor. Now I will set it to 250. This way, it will open slightly to the right. As you can see, it now opens further to the right. We also forgot to disable the opacity setting. The form was not fully visible. We can also set the location dynamically. Using the tags selected in the layout section, we can define the form's width, height, and startup position. Thank you for watching our lesson.